Another body plan that led us to these classification types have to do with body cavities. So a body cavity is a fluid-filled space in a multicellular organism. So I discussed gastrulation, and in gastrulation we had different germ layers. So I can actually see these cells making up the outer covering of this organism. I have a tissue-filled area, let's call that muscle for this guy, and then the inside digestive tract, the endoderm, will probably form that. So in this example I'm giving you here, there's no space in between those different layers that I'm discussing. So when there's no body cavity at all, for instance in this flatworm, this is called an coelomate. Coelom is the tissue-lined body cavity between the outer body wall and the gut. And here I can actually see that there's no space because it's filled up with this red-like mesoderm cells. So there's no space, no body cavity. This is acoelomate. It lacks a body cavity. A coelomate has a body cavity, so that would be an earthworm example here. So here I can actually see the same concept where I have an outer blue layer, that's the ectoderm. I have the middle mesoderm, that reddish color, and I have the inner endoderm, so that gut area is what I want you guys to know. Here, I can actually see a space. So there are no cells, and it's a space. We call that a body cavity in that inner layer. It's between the outer and the inner layers. It's usually located in the mesoderm area. That is called a coelomate. They have body cavities, true body cavities. A pseudocoelomate has false body cavities. So pseudo for false, coelomate telling me the body cavity, the coelom. False cavities are shown in this guy. A nematode is an example for that. So again, outer layer, middle mesoderm area, and then the digestive tract, the endoderm, colored in yellow. There is no body cavity embedded in the mesoderm in a coelomate. In fact, the body cavity is in between the mesoderm and it partially lines it and the inner layer. So because organs are held loosely and they're less organized in these guys, they're not, what I'm trying to say is the body cavity is not located truly in the mesoderm. It's just kind of located between the two tissues. That is called a false body cavity, and these are pseudocoelomates. Not on your exam, but I want to show you as a human why you are a coelomate. You have many body cavities that are located between your outer cell layer, your ectoderm, and your inner cell layer. You have dorsal body cavities in the form of your vertebral cavity and your cranial cavity, so housing that beautiful brain, beautiful spinal tissue in your vertebral cavity. You have large thoracic cavities. It's going to house the heart and lungs, abdominal cavities for your gut, pelvic cavities for your bladder, reproductive organs. All these different cavities are going to help house these precious organs, and they don't necessarily hold them loosely in place like pseudocoelomates. They have a specific spot where they are embedded, truly embedded in that middle layer. Another body plan is the evolution of the spinal column. So we've talked about tissues, we've talked about symmetry, we've talked about body plans. Now I want to talk about vertebrates and invertebrates. So invertebrates are animals without backbones. This is the spinal column. Invertebrates are actually going to represent 95% of the animal kingdom. Check it out. I have here the 9 most common phyla from sponges all the way down to chordates, and 8 of those 9, sponges, cnidarians, mollusks, flatworms, annelids, roundworms, arthropods, and echinoderms, these 8 are all invertebrates. They do not have a backbone. It is only the chordates. And even at that, not all chordates have backbones. Some of them do, most of them do. Most of them are vertebrates. Some of them are actually invertebrates, so not even all of them have that backbone. So the evolution of the spinal column is a great way to group these animals. Vertebrates and chordates are going to be represented by mammals, reptilia, amphibia, aves, and multiple fish classes. We do have some invertebrates that are going to be part of this class. I'm sorry, part of this phyla. Here is an example of a snake backbone. We actually see these little tiny bone structures. These are vertebra. The vertebra is what truly makes the backbone, housing precious nervous tissue.